Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club. It is draw, I don't know what it is, draw 10, draw 11. Let's just say it's Wednesday afternoon here at the Canadian Mixed Curling Championship, the 2023 edition here at the Swift Current Curling Club. My name is Al Cameron from Curling Canada, and my pleasure to bring you this afternoon's feature game between the YUKON and Prince Edward Island. And both of these teams coming in with one win, 1-4 records, but both of them still alive for a chance to play in that championship pool. Suffice it to say, it's must-win territory for both of these teams. And we'll give you the team lineups. Let's start off with Team YUKON. Skipped by Terry Miller. They're out of the Whitehorse Curling Club. The lead is Laura Wilson. The second is Peter Anderson. The third is Lainey Klassen. And the lead is Terry Miller. As mentioned, they have a 1-4 record. They lost games to Quebec and Ontario to open this. Then they pulled off a huge win that has large implications in terms of who's going to advance to that championship pool. They beat Northern Ontario, former Canadian champion Trevor Bonneau's team from Thunder Bay. Since then, they've lost a couple of games to Saskatchewan and Nova Scotia, so a 1-4 record. Prince Edward Island, they play out of the Crapaud Curling Club. The skip is Tyler Smith, the vice skip Melissa Morrow, second Ed White, and the lead is Darcy Birch. They lost their first 4 games, losing to Northern Ontario, Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, and Ontario. And then earlier today, they scored a big 5-4 win over Quebec's Pierre-Luc Morissette, getting a deuce in the 8th end, and that has them still alive. 1 game left for both of these teams. A win by either one of them keeps them alive. Of course, we won't know for sure until the conclusion of tonight's 6 p.m. Central draw, but as of right now, a win right now for both of them keeps them alive in the bid to reach that final 8, 4 from each pool, and a lot of pressure on both these teams in this afternoon game, their final round-robin game. Once again, we are on Sheet D. We've been on Sheet D for quite a few games in a row, so we have a pretty good idea how this ice will go, and it will curl outside in. This one may curl just a little too much. Will it get by that guard? It will not. And as you see, it is YUKON with Last Rock. And they have that short guard just in front of the rings. This will be Laura Wilson. Seeing if they can get one into the rings behind that protection, that long protection. be buried, but it'll be at the back 4 foot, so an opportunity here for Prince Edward Island to draw one up to it. This will be Ed White. Yes, it says McFadden on his jersey, but that is in fact Ed White playing second for Prince Edward Island. They had a last-minute player change. McFadden could not make the trip, so Ed White, who played with Tyler Smith at the 2023 Brier in London, Ontario, he steps in to take over at second, and he's got a nice shot. Looking right here, they can drag that a little bit further. It's a good spot. Still is YUKON with shot stone. Trying to get another one in there is the youngster on this team, Peter Anderson. That's a great shot. Good weight, good sweeping, good line call. Team shot in every way. Now Prince Edward Island looking like they're going to have to do some bailing out here as Ed White will be asked to remove some of that granite in front of the house. Removes one of the YUKON stones. Might have been one of the guards might have been accidentally moved by a Prince Edward Island sweeper, so Terry and looks like they're going to try and replace them here. There's an official's timeout. The skips have come to an agreement that is satisfactory outcome, so time will resume. Busy few weeks here for 3 of these YUKON players. Laney and Laura will be a member of the YUKON team that will play at the Everest Canadian Seniors in early December in Vernon, BC. Terry Miller will be the skip of the YUKON men's team at the Everest Canadian Seniors in Vernon. And then between then and now, there's the Everest Canadian Club Championships, which get underway in a couple of weeks in Winnipeg. Laura Wilson will be the second for Team YUKON. Terry Miller will be the skip of the YUKON men's team at the Everest Canadian Curling Club Championships. So a lot of curling ahead for these YUKON players. Draw another one in. They are sitting first, second, and fourth. That stone is available for a run back. See what Melissa Morrow can do with it. Just wrecks on the guard. And Laney Clausen play a hit on the PEI stone that's in the rings and a chance to sit 4 for PEI. It's going to over curl a bit and it looks like it'll jam. It does, but PEI stone is I would say PEI is shot. Yeah, they are. Suddenly, a big opportunity for PEI. Just one of their rocks in the rings, but it is buried. Morrow will throw her second and see if they can sit two. PEI team's been in just about all of its games. They've hung tough in all of them. Went to an extra end with Nova Scotia and finally got rewarded, I'd say, in their win over Quebec this morning. Well-manufactured deuce in the final end that won the game for PEI. It's close. As you can see, Terry Miller's going to take a close look at it. I kind of feel now maybe that YUKON is shot. Let's see what they call here. So they're going to go over to that side. Certainly don't want to move their shot stone. I think it is shot, but this one is curling. Now it's going to go off their own, I think. So playing the raise on that PEI stone. Now the question is, whose second shot? I really couldn't tell you. If I had to be a betting man, I might say, you know what, I don't even want to say. All we know right now is it's YUKON with shot rock. And of course, that's the priority now for Tyler Smith. As he heads down to the hack to throw his first shot of the game. Make that redstone go away. There's a chance at a double here. Sit 3 for PEI. All sorts of tiebreaker scenarios that play here in Pool A. Quebec, Northern Ontario, YUKON, and Prince Edward Island all alive for that fourth and final playoff or championship pool position. It may come down to last shot draw, depending on their head-to-head records against each other, but certainly whoever wins this game has a better position. And there's that double from Tyler Smith. And PEI now sits 3. Terry Miller, a very familiar face at a lot of Canadian championships representing the YUKON over the years. Always felt like he had one of the great jobs out there. He was a sales rep for Frito-Lay's. So if you wanted some salt and vinegar, some all-dressed ketchup flavored chips, he was your guy. But he just retired in September, which to me is a bit of a tragedy. I hope he gets chips for life. Spent 31 years with Frito-Lay's. Over 30 years, I believe. As mentioned, he's competing in 3 national championships this year. Representing, and you know, we talked about team uniforms, and for me, it's hard to beat those new Northern Ontario tops, but these YUKON jackets and shirts with the Northern Lights sublimated in them are just beautiful. So the double might be coming right back. No, it does jam. And that red stone of the YUKON is open. So chance for Tyler Smith to make the hit and sit 3 and put YUKON in the position of having to take one, having to try to take one. Let's put it that way. No guarantees in curling. This is curling hard. Great scrub there by Ed White to keep it on line and bury it. So it's the draw, I believe. Yes, it will be for for Terry. Just needs bite the forefoot, and that'll get the point. So the top 3 teams in this Pool A have clinched their spots in the championship pool. Saskatchewan, Team Sean Meacham with a stolen victory over Ontario this morning, and Team Ontario, Scott McDonald, as well as Nova Scotia's Team Fall Fleming, all have advanced to the championship pool. They're all sitting at 4-1. And it's Quebec at 2-3, Northern Ontario at 1-3, YUKON at 1-4, and PEI at 1-4 that all still have a chance at that last 4th and final position. Quebec is off this draw. They will play Ontario this evening. Northern Ontario is on the ice right now, needing to win this game against Nova Scotia. And of course, we've got YUKON playing Prince Edward Island right now. Bite the forefoot. Looks like that one's settling in nice. So it will be a single point for the YUKON. A good end from PEI, and they will have the hammer in the second end when we come back after this.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
All yours. Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club, where we have Prince Edward Island with hammer here in the second end after forcing the YUKON to a single point in the first end. Just a reminder of the format here at the 2023 Canadian Mixed. 14 teams representing the member associations of Curling Canada, 10 provinces, the 3 territories, and Northern Ontario, of course. We are competing in 2 pools of 7. Top 4 teams in each pool move on to the championship pool. So 4 from Pool A, 4 from Pool B. That championship pool round robin will begin tomorrow. 4 teams from Pool A will play and cross over against the Pool B teams. And then once that portion of the event is done, 4 semifinalists will be set for Saturday morning. First will play 4th, second will play 3rd. That'll get us our combatants for the gold and bronze medal games that will take place Saturday afternoon. The 3 teams that don't move into the championship pool, they'll be in the seeding pool. So 5th, 6th, and 7th in each pool. They will play the other 3 pool teams from the other pool, and that will determine the final standings, which plays a role in the Cruising Along MA Cup, which rates each member association's performance over the full season of Canadian championships. Also will determine seedings for next year's Canadian Mixed Championship. And a reminder, there are no tiebreaker games, so once we get done games tonight, head-to-head games, the results between head-to-head teams that are tied for a spot will decide it. And if that can't decide it, in essence, if there's 3 teams tied for 1 spot, we're all 1-1 against each other, then that last shot draw ranking will play a role, and that will decide the final spot into championship pool. And we'll get you an update on the last shot draw rankings as soon as they're available from this draw. We can tell you that Pool B will be clean. We know the 4 teams that will advance from there. It will be Manitoba, Team Kyle Kurz, Northwest Territories, Team Jamie Cooey, Alberta, Team Kevin Van Amsterdam, and New Brunswick, Team Charlie Sullivan. All 4 of those teams are headed to the championship pool. So we're well underway in this second end, and it is the Yukon sitting 3, pardon me. And PEI has that short stone that Ed White will be asked to raise and remove 1, possibly 2 of those Yukon stones. We'll take 1 out and lose the shooter as well as the other PEI stone. So it's just a couple of Yukon stones in play, both in the circles. Peter Anderson, fascinating story about Peter. He is the development coordinator and the national coach for the Kosovo Curling Federation. He'd actually been training in preparation for this event in Finland to get ready for this, but doing a lot of work in Kosovo to develop that curling nation. Started working there in 2016, and they are working towards having a dedicated curling ice facility within the next few years. Still not quite there in terms of having full status to be able to curl at World Championships, but they're steadily moving up the ladder. He will be coaching. He will have a little bit of a side hustle. He'll coach Team Guyana at the 2023 World Mixed Doubles qualifying event in Scotland in December. Here's a hit and stick, nicely played by Ed White. Laney Clausen will be asked to remove that stone. Gotta be careful with the jam here. Got to make contact first. And it will. Nice piece of sweeping there from Laura Wilson to get it across enough. Draw is made there by PEI. Again, Yukon will play the hit, try and keep 2 in the rings to prevent PEI from having a chance of building their deuce of their own. Important to hold the shooter here for Laney Clausen. It's going to be up to Peter Anderson to see if he can get some movement on this to hold the shooter. It will stay in the rings. Alyssa Morrow is a former Canadian champion. She won the 2015 Canadian Club Championship playing with Lisa Jackson. Took place in Ottawa. Makes the hit, and it will roll out of the ring. So a chance to split the rings here for Yukon. Terry will head down the ice and get his draw weight. Terry spent a lot of time curling in the lower mainland of British Columbia. Played with a lot of good curlers down there, including 2000 World Men's Champion Greg McCauley. Like to get this even up with the other rock. Wanted to keep it in the rings, though. Tyler Smith going to go to work on it. And just a little bit heavy, so PEI let off the hook a little bit here. Chance maybe to get the blank. See what they can do with Hammer in the third end. Open hit here for Tyler Smith. And White working hard to see if he can keep that shooter. Nicely played, a little bit of a roll. It's an open hit here. Like the whole. That will put zeros on the scoreboard. As Skips never want to throw these opportunities to learn something about the ice away, so it won't just be a throw to the boards. See what the ice is doing. Put this in the memory bank for later in the end. So it will be a blank, and it will be Prince Edward Island with last rock in the third end when we come back after this.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
We are back at the Swift Current Curling Club. We'll give you a quick update of games that are taking place here in This afternoon's draw, next to last draw of the preliminary round, as you see, it is none of it. Team Peter Van Streen from Iqaluit in an early 1-0 lead late in this second end over Newfoundland Labradors. Team Keith Ryan from Labrador City. Both those teams headed to the seeding pool. Big game over on Sheet B, as we see Nova Scotia, Team Paul Fleming from Halifax, stealing a point in the first end. Northern Ontario may have thought that they were out of it, thinking Quebec was going to win earlier today against PEI, but the PEI win over Quebec has brought Northern Ontario back into the mix, and that's a very good Northern Ontario team. Silver medalists last year, gold medalists a few years before, so we'll see if PEI, this is Northern Ontario, they must win this game, you'd think, in order to stay alive. And then two teams that are already headed to the championship pool out of Pool B, it is Manitoba, unbeaten Manitoba, Team Kyle Kurz from Winnipeg at 4-0, and they are in a scoreless draw in the third end against Alberta's team Evan Van Amsterdam from Edmonton with a 4-1 record. As we said, Manitoba, the Territories, Alberta, and New Brunswick all headed to the championship pool out of Pool B. And on our sheet, nice blank there for PEI in the second end. They have Hammer here in the third, and Shot Rock. Trying to drag this draw as deep as possible, trying to get it on top. Frozen. Come up a little short, but in a control zone that's usable potentially later in the end. Talked about Peter Anderson. He's played for the YUKON last year's Canadian Mixed Championship in Prince Albert. The same team was together last year. And in fact, they recorded one of the big wins of last year's championship in Prince Albert. An 8-0 win, pitched a shutout against Team Felix Asselin of Quebec, the team that went on to win the gold medal. Kind of one of those you just never know kind of games. This YUKON team has game. Ed White now, potential for a double here. I think they'd lose their shot on the button. That was going to jam all day, I think. But still, two PEI stones at the top of the house, and that's not a bad spot. Still, though, YUKON sitting shot rock pretty much buried. You can see a sliver peeking out there. Going to be a situation that YUKON's going to have to manage well. Peter Anderson will be asked to play the draw. Passes in there. That does seem to line things up for the yellow, red, yellow. That is what Tyler is seeing as well. Got to hit that on the high side, and good things will happen. There you see it. So they do move that Yukon stone off the button, but it still is Yukon sitting shot rock. And another chance here potentially to get one buried in the 4-foot behind those stones. Enough to go up wider. Laney Clausen. Counterclockwise rotation, her out turn. Could even get the raise on their own. That's probably the call anyways. Now they're going to try and get it to curl a little bit. Not sure what they were. I think they were trying to get that to curl, but that was always going to be the result. And now you get a hit and roll possibility for PEI. Melissa Morrow has a good opportunity. Very accomplished soccer player was Melissa Morrow. Played at UPEI. She'll make the hit. Couldn't get the roll though, so now let's see what Laney Clausen can do with much the same shot. Trying to hold the line, but that's going to curl over a little too much. It'll be open on the other side. It will be shot rock, and we would tend to say that, in fact, it's Yukon sitting 1-2. So now Melissa Morrow will again try the hit and roll from the other side of the sheet rings. Bud White going to work to keep this line. That's looking really nice. Oh, great hit and roll there. Melissa Morrow. Very, very nice. So PEI sitting shot. It is behind the tee line, but hard to get at. There is the raise possibility there, but as you see, that Yukon stone that they might think about raising is not fully exposed. But that guard is probably long enough that they could get close-ish, close enough to the nose. But see what the thought process here is for Terry Miller, whether he'll try and go around. Based on that ice at the edge of the 12-foot, I feel like he's going to try and go around it. You know that this ice curls enough that this kind of shot is available. Peter, being the KG veteran that he is, I'm sure he knows a thing or two about how to get a rock to curl a little more when needed. Sweepers aren't touching this, though. It's got to curl a long ways. Might be a little bit warm. There you see Morrow ready to take that back as far as she can. Come to a rest in the 8-foot to sit second shot. Trying to get that to curl in a little bit. Come to rest on top of that YUKON stone. So it is PEI sitting, I'm going to say 2. I don't think it's 3. Certainly 2. That red YUKON stone in the back 8 certainly is a third shot. Chance here for Terry Miller to see if he can draw one on top of those yellow stones. Final shot here for Terry Miller in this third end. PEI sitting 2. This rock got it to sit on top of those yellow stones. So curl in nice. I want it to bounce into the open though. Perfect spot for it to come to rest. And it is YUKON sitting 1. See what PEI can do here. Looking to see if he can play the raise, it looks like, on his yellow stone. That is about 2/3 open there. Angle raise onto that red stone that is biting the button. That'd be a great shot. Trying to get it past that red guard. It's by. Now, is the angle right? It is, and that is a great deuce for Prince Edward Island. Lovely shot by Tyler Smith, and it puts 2 on the board for PEI. YUKON will have the hammer when we come back for the 4th end after this.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club as we head into the 4th end of this afternoon's game between Team Terry Miller of the YUKON and Team Prince Edward Island, skipped by Tyler Smith out of Crapaud, Prince Edward Island. A lovely shot by Tyler Smith, a little angle raise. Results in a deuce after a nice shot by Terry Miller on the cast. That draw attempt comes up a little light and in fact is taken out of play because it moved the rock that was in that no tick area. It was touching the center line, therefore it cannot be touched. So the YUKON stone is removed from play and the PEI stone is placed back in its original position. Reminder that the winner of this game will certainly stay alive in its bid to advance to the championship pool. Certainly will need a little help. Certainly safe to say that destiny is not within their own hands. Probably the team that has the most control of its situation would be Team Northern Ontario. If it wins both of its games today, right now against Nova Scotia, and then again tonight against Saskatchewan. I mean, two tough assignments, but not out of the realm of possibility. Northern Ontario would certainly get that fourth berth. But if they lose one of these games, a bunch of teams in that two-win territory, and it may come down to last shot draw standings. And in that area, PEI is not in great shape. They are sitting last in the last shot draw. YUKON is next to last. Northern Ontario is sitting third right now in their pool. So PEI is going to need some chips to both of these teams, PEI and the YUKON, if they're to move into that championship pool, they're going to need some help from other teams. But they are still alive, and a win would certainly keep them alive. Take a look at Ed White here with a chance to make a hit and roll behind cover. Hit and the roll. Very nicely played by Ed White. So all that's left really is the run back for Peter Anderson. That's an unfortunate miss. It leaves the guard in play and doesn't remove anything. Another chance here for PEI to ramp up some pressure. Go for a steal. Here's Peter Anderson. We mentioned his involvement with that Kosovo Association, his coaching involvement. As an athlete, he has represented Kosovo on the world stage, played at the 2019 World Mixed Doubles. That took place in Stavanger, Norway. He's a partner with Eldena Dakaj. I hope I'm doing justice to that pronunciation. And, Kosovo finished with an 0-7 record, but Peter Anderson has played on the world stage. The guard will be replaced. Might be coming a little deeper than they'd hoped. He'll bounce and still get the job done. Protect their shot stone at the top four. Now the hit attempt here from Laney Klassen. Looks like it's going to be on that high guard, and we'll peel it away. Asked to replace the draw, or replace that guard. Ed White's going to try and get it to curl a little more. Don't want it to line up. That gets the job done. That nice stagger there. So another hit attempt here from Laney Klassen. Again, trying to open up some daylight to get at that PEI shot stone. But, oh, there's a nice shot. Good double peel. But it does actually put the stone closer to the 4-foot, and still will take some work to get out of this jam for YUKON. This is all set up, you remember, with that really wonderful hit and roll by Ed White. Second rocks. Tyler Smith now will play guard. It's been good protection this end from PEI after that hit and roll from Ed White. They've played just about perfect guards the whole end. This one looks a little warm though. I think this is going to be into the rings. But actually not a bad spot. I don't see a way that they can remove that shot rock. And now Terry Miller is looking at maybe a draw the button to get behind those stones. But now I think probably the call is to try and see if he can remove some of that yellow granite, let him have a path for something on his last shot. Gary Miller needing to make something good happen. Otherwise, he's not going to have a shot on his last. First shot here in this fourth end. Peter Anderson trying to keep that straight. Well, does take out one PEI stone, but there's still three sitting there, and that shot stone biting the button is in jail. Tyler Smith will put another one in front of the house. Wouldn't break his heart to get off into the top 12 here. Make that shot even tougher for the YUKON, but it's going to take something awfully special to put a number on the board for the YUKON here. And a great end. And again, we can't say enough about how important that hit and roll was that Ed White played. It really got this started in the right direction. And the broom goes down immediately. Terry Miller is going to be playing that wide in-turn clockwise rotation draw, trying to cut down. I mean, there is the side of the button available there, but it's going to take something awfully good. But he's drawing against 4 right now. Final shot here in the 4th end. Terry Miller needing to find a piece of that button to score. Needing to be full 8-foot just to cut PEI down to 1. This week is not touching it. See where this comes to rest. Well, it's going to get deep enough that it will just be a seal of 1 for PEI. So that's a pretty good result for the YUKON. Terry Miller makes that draw, cuts PEI down to 1, but it will be a 3-1 lead for the Islanders. The teams will take their 4th end break. We will too. We'll be back after a few minutes here at the Swift Current Curling Club.
Something new and interesting is always just down the highway here. Find hidden gems grown from the ground up. Hidden gems that can surprise you at every turn. Get a taste for the beauty that thrives in a place where we are given space to grow. Get curious in our prairie life and city lights. Saskatchewan.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster. Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club. It is Wednesday afternoon. It's Wednesday. You lose track of time when you're in Swift Current. Wednesday afternoon action at the 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. My name is Al Cameron from Curling Canada, and we're bringing you this very, very important game between the YUKON team Terry Miller and Prince Edward Island's team Tyler Smith. The winning team will still be alive for a trip into the championship pool. Championship pool play begins tomorrow. The loser will be eliminated and put into that seeding pool that also will play tomorrow inside the final standings. And it is PEI that will carry momentum into the second half of this game. A great deuce in the third end on an angle raise from Tyler Smith, and then a steal of one in the fourth. Although it must be said, Terry Miller had to make a great shot, a nice draw, looking at 4 PEI counters, and he cut them down to 1. So it will be YUKON with the hammer in the fifth end. Getting started here in this fifth for Team PEI. Darcy Birch. She worked for the province of Prince Edward Island in the Department of Agriculture as a program officer. Played a couple times for PEI. She's got a couple PEI jackets. Played for PEI at the 2009 Canadian Junior Championships. 10 years later, she was a part of the PEI team that played at the Canadian Curling Club Championships. So this is her third PEI jacket. So the corner guard called for by YUKON and just finishes short of the ring. So nice throw there by Laura Wilson. This is the last preliminary round robin game for both of these teams. So they'll be watching the results. The winning team certainly would be watching closely of the results of games that take place this evening. The other game on the ice that really has an effect on them is the Nova Scotia Northern Ontario team. And right now, that game is favoring the winner of YUKON and PEI, as Northern Ontario, with just one win, is down 3-1 playing the fifth end. We'll get you up to date on the scores. Few minutes. Just one round robin draw left. And you'll be able to watch that right here on Curling Canada Plus, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. All 4 sheets being streamed live from the Canadian Mixed Curling Championship, thanks to our friends at Curling Stadium. You can choose which game you want. You can even watch all 4 games at once. A lot of curling yet to be played, and you can see it all right here from the Trip Current. Laura Robinson playing the come around. Laura's a registered dietitian at the YUKON Bariatric Specialty Clinic in Whitehorse. Makes a nice draw there. See how PEI responds. Ed White. And yes, we'll explain again. That is Ed White. It is not Alex McCadyon. Alex couldn't make the trip, so Ed White had to step in at the last minute and is wearing Alex's shirts. This is a good-looking shot from Ed. Mentioned that Ed and Tyler played together at the Briar last year in London. Call now will be to see if they can remove that yellow guard. Peter Anderson will get that call. Pushes it onto the rings, but it definitely opens up the middle. That's important for the YUKON with Last Rock. Still PEI with shot stone, but behind that tee line, it's not going to get any closer. There's certainly that red stone, the YUKON stone that's sitting second shot. It'll certainly come into play later in this end. Ed White's going to be asked to remove one, if not both of those corner guards for the YUKON. Just a little bit wide. Might get both here. We'll see. Oh, it's just going to roll over top. But there, that was an interesting outcome, actually. It shook things up in the middle and released those, unlocked those stones. And it is now PEI sitting shot stone. Chance here, though, for Lainey Klassen. Pardon me, that's Peter Anderson in the hack. Chance for him to corner freeze. YUKON with the hammer here in this fifth end. Might be a little bit light as you see Peter Miller coming out to do a little sweeping on that. Terry Miller, pardon me, on Peter's shot, and that is light, and that actually serves as a guard for Prince Edward Island. Now they have a chance to play a little raised bump, yellow onto red there, and now they'll actually play the draw and get to that corner frozen position before TEI can, or before the YUKON can. Melissa Morrow works at the University of Prince Edward Island Student Union. She's the general manager there. 18 years she spent with the PEI Student Union. A little wide, a little heavy perhaps. There it comes, though. It come to a rest in time. Pretty good shot there. But I think that's a pretty natural call now for Terry Miller. Follow it down and see if they can just tap it back a few centimeters, and that will be a very hard stone to remove by PEI as Lainey Klassen settles in. Torres trying to get that to curl. Coming in nice. A very, very nice shot by Lainey Clausen. So UKON sitting 1. Melissa will be asked to come on top of that UKON stone. Now the PEI priority would likely be to make sure UKON doesn't score any more than 1. That'd be a pretty nice position to be in. Forcing UKON to a single, which they did successfully in the first end as well. White's going to try and get it to bend a little. That ends up just short, but not a bad result. Terry Miller's going to take a close look to see who's shot. I think he is UKON's shot, but well, looking at it closer, I'm not convinced, actually. Certainly that yellow stone that is right in front of Terry Miller, that's a danger stone for sure. Curls up and pushes their stone a little further into the 12-foot. But I think there's an opportunity here for another angle raise for PEI. Just hit a quarter of that rock. The yellow stone that the broom is right beside, and that'll drive it straight in to the shot zone. It might actually remove both of those red stones. Lots of ways to make this shot, actually. That was a great shot by Tyler Smith. He's made a few of them this game. Suddenly it is PEI sitting 4 on the fast rock here, but needing to, once again, Terry Miller is going to have to manufacture something to get out of this. Not too many real good options right now. PEI team getting better at the right time. Yes, they lost their first 4, but they were in all 4 of those games. And UKON will call a timeout to discuss their options. Too many real easy options at all. Double raise, red on red onto yellow. I mean, even the draw to corner freeze to that stone at the back of the button, that's definitely not a gimme. It's kind of what we're wondering if it's actually there. more than anything, I think Terry Miller's got to focus on giving himself something for his last shot. So certainly a priority would be clearing some of that granite in front of the house, I think. That's the call. He's going to see if they can hit as much as they can see of that red stone. That's at the top of the 12 foot. They can't see all of it. You can see there, the bottom right of the screen, or depending on your view, you can see about, let's say, 2/3 to 3/4 of it. Good shot here for Terry Miller. He's got to clear himself a path. Give him something to shoot with for his last. Clock is underway. It's going to tip off that top one, I think. It will. And this is big trouble for the Yukon. So here's the, and I'll put air quotes around this dilemma for PEI. What's the best way to protect? You might even be coming into the rings with another stone, but I want to set up an angle. Kind of one of those fun situations to be in if you're PEI. Sitting great, and it's just a matter, how do I make Terry Miller's last shot as hard as humanly possible? I think the call is they're going to come in and put another one in there. Just a little bit of a Christmas tree angle. I don't know what Terry Miller does then to score, other than, I guess, throw it really, really hard. See if he can stick the shooter and see what happens to all those yellow stones. But it's looking more and more like a steal for Team PEI. There you see the final result. And goodness. The red raise doesn't look great. It might just be a case of playing this angle raise. seeing if anything good can come of it. It is PEI sitting 4. Certainly there, though. I mean, half to 3/4 of a rock thereabouts. We'll put it into that pile in the middle. Oh, Terry Miller, last shot. The angle raise. And cross your fingers. The guy sitting 4. I'll tell you what. Oh, it just curled up just a little too much and drives it right through the hole. Tough miss. Tough miss there for the Yukon. Just over curled by maybe a centimeter, if that. But it should be a steal of 4 for Prince Edward Island. Suddenly, their chances moving into that championship pool get a little bit better. As mentioned, they'll still need a little help later on today, but winning this game, if they do, they've done as much as possible to give themselves a chance. Win over Quebec earlier today will certainly help them. So we'll be right back. Yukon will look to get on the scoreboard another point when we come back to the Swift Current Curling Club after this.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
Something new and interesting is always just down the highway here. Find hidden gems grown from the ground up. Hidden gems that can surprise you at every turn. Get a taste for the beauty that thrives in a place where we are given space to grow. Get curious in our prairie life and city lights. Saskatchewan.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
There you go. Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club Draw 10 action Wednesday afternoon here at the Swift Current version of the 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. Quick look at the scores for the full afternoon of curling here. As you see, Newfoundland Labrador. Team Keith Ryan from Labrador City up into a 5-2 lead over Nunavut. Both those teams headed to the seeding pool. Big game here on Sheet B. Nova Scotia getting a deuce in the 4th and holding Northern Ontario to 1 in the 5th. So it's 3-2 Nova Scotia team Paul Fleming. They're headed to that championship pool. A Northern Ontario loss here significantly helps the winner of our feature game. So we'll see if that score holds up. And on Sheet C, it's 2 teams in the other pool, Pool B, that are both headed to the championship pool. Manitoba, unbeaten Manitoba, a big 3 in the 5th end. They take a 3-1 lead over Alberta. And on our sheet, a big steal of 4 for Prince Edward Island in that 5th end. And they are in cruise control, up 7-1, looking to finish off a 2-win day and keep their hopes alive of advancing to the championship pool at the 2023 Canadian Mixed. Now, I don't think there's going to be too much fancy about the PEI game plan the rest of this way. They'll just try and keep things clean and tidy. Got 3 in that 4-foot region. There is a corner guard up for the YUKON. Peter Anderson, we'll see if he can get this end going for the YUKON. Gotta think they gotta score 2, if not 3 points to see if they can get back into this game, but it's going to be a steep mountain to climb. But there is a pocket there for sure, and a corner freeze, it looks like, just come up a little short. I'd have liked that to come in a little deeper, but pretty easy decision here, I think, for PEI. Make one of those red rocks go away, but probably the guard is the one they're worried about most. Ed White, the second for Team PEI. He's had a very good game. Makes that peel very nicely. Peter Anderson will see if he can get one into that kind of pocket that's formed at the back of the 4-foot, around the 4-foot anyways. Terry Miller will come up and offer a little bit of sweeping assistance. It'll bump off their own. That does obviously open the door for a double. That'll be the call for Melissa Morrow. Their 4th trip to the Canadian Mix. She also represented PEI in 2018, 2019, 2021. PEI is not missing a thing right now. Great shot there from Melissa Morrow. Getting into desperation mode here a little bit for the YUKON as PEI sitting 4 around that 4-foot circle. Peter Anderson's going to try and carve this in. It's going to curl a bunch, but I think it is going to bounce out and into the open. So Morrow will be asked to remove that red stone. Not necessary to hold the shooter, but it seems hard to think that she couldn't with all that pile of catchers there. Just got to make contact and make that red go away. Well, having said that, making contact might be an issue here, and it will slide by and leave the YUKON stone in play. So maybe a glimmer of light for the YUKON. Still is PEI sitting 1st and 2nd. Looks like the call here will be to move that PEI stone. Got to hold the shooter here. Don't know if you want to be removing yellow stones. Moving them back, yes, but it's not a bad thing to have those PEI stones in the rings at the back of the house. That's actually a pretty good outcome there. Lenny Klassen does remove a couple of PEI stones. And the two existing PEI stones that are still in the house are behind the tee line, and forming a pocket. So a little bit more urgency now to Tyler Smith's shot. Play the angle double here. Reminder, will bring you the final round robin draw this evening, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on Curling Canada Plus. Of course, you can watch all 4 sheets being streamed live to our partners at Curling Stadium. Tyler Smith, final shot, or his first shot here in the 6th end, playing the angle double. It's promising. And going to get it out the back. It will spin back in, so it just hangs on. Terry Miller's going to play the hit. Let's see if he can get the little roll frozen. That would be a great shot. Certainly help his team's chances to get that deuce. Gotta be careful about the jam here. He'll make the double takeout, and suddenly, YUKON is sitting 2. Now, all that said, it will not be a disaster for PEI to give up 2 here. A 4-point lead with Hammer, with 2 ends to play. I like your chances. Tyler Smith, last rock here in the 7th underway. Trying to get the angle double here. Got a chance. Oh, Tyler Smith, another great shot. This PEI team is certainly ramping up its game on closing day of preliminary round play. Big win over Quebec earlier today, and then looking like it's well on its way here. 7-1 and open house. See what Terry Miller decides to do. Not quite sure what's being talked about there. The officials are out on the ice talking with Team YUKON. Whatever it was resolved, and Terry Miller is going to throw this through the house for the blank. The zeros will go on the scoreboard. Appears the teams will continue to play on, so we'll take a brief break and we'll be right back after this.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
Tomorrow? Current Curling Club as we head into the seventh end. Today's feature game between YUKON and PEI. Seven-1 lead for Prince Edward Island, and YUKON trying to generate something. They were into the house on their first, but this time they'll call the guard. We said we'll be back with our last preliminary round-robin game tonight, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then tomorrow, 4 draws that you can watch on Curling Canada Plus with our friends at Curling Stadium. Those draw times tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. That'll be a seeding pool game. More games at 12:30, 3:30, and 7:30 tomorrow. Now those times are Central. Once again, 9 a.m., 12:30. I'll get the times right this time. 9 a.m., 12:30 p.m., 4 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. Those are all Central. And the championship pool games tomorrow will be at 12:30 and 7:30. Seeding pool games at 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. But all of those games will be right here on Curling Canada Plus. Big day tomorrow at the Canadian Mixed Championship. 3 draws Friday, 12:30 p.m., 4 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. Again, all Central. That all leads to Saturday's playoff rounds. It'll be the semifinals at 10 a.m. and the gold and bronze medal games at 2:30 p.m. right here on Curling Canada Plus. So a couple of PEI stones in the rings. Corner guard up, a long corner guard for the YUKON. Both these teams will be idle tonight, and the winning team, and right now it seems that PEI is on its way, will be watching and waiting to see what happens in that evening draw. We can tell you that it's looking Nova Scotia taking a 5-2 lead now over Northern Ontario, and that is certainly a result that helps PEI's chances. Northern Ontario will close out its round robin tonight against Saskatchewan. And the other team that's in the mix, Quebec, will take on unbeaten Ontario. So it's really going to be coming down to Quebec, Northern Ontario, and PEI to see who gets a shot into that championship pool. If they all end with identical records, it appears they'll be all 1-1 against each other. Then it would go to last shot draw. And in that scenario, based on the last shot draw results to date, certainly Quebec is in the driver's seat there. They have a pretty healthy lead on Northern Ontario. PEI finished last in the pool in last shot draw. But if it's head-to-head results and it's only if Quebec and PEI end up tied up with 2-4 records, PEI would get the tiebreaker based on their head-to-head win earlier today. That came thanks to a last-end deuce. So looking like a fascinating close to preliminary round pool play in Pool A. As we've said, Pool B is clean. Manitoba, unbeaten Manitoba. The Northwest Territories, Jamie Cooey's team from Yellowknife, Alberta, and New Brunswick all are headed to that championship pool. Lainey Klassen now being asked to see if she can get one corner frozen to one of those PEI stones. That should be reasonably easy to remove here for Melissa Morrow. Perfect. Again, they're not upset if they lose that shooter at all. Rocks in the rings right now, certainly more advantageous to the YUKON than they are to PEI. 6-point lead. A lot of teams might consider playing just little taps here rather than takeouts. Just to create some catcher opportunities, but play to your strengths, and obviously Terry Miller believes this is the better shot for Lainey Klassen. Down to Skips Rocks here in this seventh end. Tyler Smith doing himself a great game as well. This team, top to bottom, in fact, PEI, has been very, very solid in this game. Not easy shots either. There's the jam. So that opened the door. I don't think that's going to get out. It won't. Suddenly now. It's an unfortunate miss for PEI. Terry Miller already in the hack. Looks like it is PEI with shot, so Terry's going to have to make a play at that Yellowstone. Whether he's freezing to it or tapping it, we'll see in a moment. To curl a little bit. know that they're going to be able to hold that shooter. Will it even make contact? It will not. It will slide by. And now, Tyler Smith. Take a shot at that YUKON stone. Just get the sense it's just a matter of time here. PEI to get its second win of the day and stay alive in the 2023 Canadian Mixed. Hit stick and see Harry Miller play the draw. Just needs full 8 foot to get a point. Stone here in the 7th end. Trying to drag this into the 8 foot, but it looks like it will come up just a bit light. It will be a steal of 2, and that will end the game. Final score will be Prince Edward Island 9, YUKON 1. PEI still alive at the 2023 Canadian Mixed Championship. Reminder, we'll be back on the air with a finale to preliminary round play. That will come at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Curling Canada Plus. So for now, that's it from Swift Current. I'm Al Cameron saying goodbye for now.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good, and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.